Good morning, how are you? Good morning, can I have the state put the names on the record?
Taylor May on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
From the Public Defender's Office.
Letitia George on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Do we have any move-ups? No? All right. So get Mr. Leopard out of here. And all right, let's do our third day motions. I have Ellis, 2021, CF 3196AL.
You said that was 1396, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Notice and on filing.
I am be granted. Let's do Furin, 2021, CF 3296AL.
Filed yesterday.
That was denied. I have German, 2020, CF 3376AL.
Filed yesterday.
Denied. There'll be no 2021 CF 2675AL.
Notice and on filing.
Granted. I have Smith, 2021 CF 1142AL.
Filed this morning.
Denied. I have Ledecker, 2021 CF 3318AL.
Filed yesterday.
Be denied. I have Dennis, 2020, or Denson, 2021 CF 3092AL.
Notice and on filing.
We granted. Talk about Francis, 2021 CF 3146AL.
Filed yesterday.
That was denied. I have a Johnson.
20 CF
Oh, it's like-
14650.
I gotta get scanned. There we go. 20 CF 14650AL.
Filed yesterday.
All right, that was denied.
Is filed.
All right. Is Mr. Boyle here already? Ms. Prophet has, you're from Mr. Boyle, right?
Yes, Judge.
Is he here?
Yeah, he's about him.
All right. It's gonna knock that out, and then I'll get you Mr. Leffert with Miss Monday, correct? Can you tell me your name, sir?
Adrian Kennard, boy.
And can you put your name on the record, counsel?
Alicia Adamson, for the record.
Mr. Boyer, you're here in 2021 CF 4609AO on charges of trafficking of methamphetamine and 28 grams or more with a weapon, possession of cannabis with intent to sell, deliver with a weapon, possession of firearm and commission of a felony, and attempted destruction of evidence. The judge signing the warrant in this case has already found probable cause for your arrest. Ms. Addison, what do you tell me about release conditions you want me to set for your client?
Your Honor, I've spoken to the state in this case, who has no objection to a bond being set, but would be at your discretion. I would be asking for a $50,000 bond, and I just want to give you a little bit of background on why. This was an operation that was going on with OPD, and it was published in the newspaper.
Okay.
And my client's face was on there as a potential suspect. As a result of that, his godmother reached out to me. I reached out to OPD. I've been talking with a Detective Foster, who at the time did not have a warrant but appreciated my phone call and said that he would keep me posted when they did get a warrant. He sent me a text message. Good morning, this is Detective Foster. Javen Bowie's warrant is in the system. He sent that yesterday. My client turned himself in yesterday. The detective was very appreciative of that. Like, my client literally helped procure the warrant wasn't even issued by the time I reached out to the detective. I also showed the state, which I think is why she's willing to have the bond set. I sent the officer a text message saying, do you have an objection to the bond being set at $50,000? His response is not at all.
Is a total bond you're asking me, or is the count one you're asking me?
Well, I would ask that the count one be set at 50 and the other ones just be set at 1,000.
Who's going to post this bond? I've never had in an interview a defendant ask him what his job record was, say he's unemployed, and said how long he's been unemployed all my life.
It would be his godmother,
Okay.
Judge. And just, he has no felony convictions as an adult. There's no trafficking history, no violent history as an adult. He's obviously not a flight risk. He submitted himself he tried to submit himself prior to even having a warrant, is and will continue to work with law enforcement. The lead detective, and I can approach if you'd like with the text
No,
message.
that's fine. I was wondering, that was a little concerning to me because, where the money's coming from is a concern when.
I actually haven't met, so it's his godmother.
That's fine. That's I said, even though somebody, if he was trying to say he's going to post his own bond, then I had a lot of questions.
He's going to post his own bond. I'd ask the bond be set at 1,000 on everything.
All right, that's the count one. The court has set your bond at $50,000. Count two, set your bond amount of $1,000. Count three is already set at 1,000. And count four is set at 500. Condition your bond, not allowed to possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have in your possession need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You already have Ms. Crawford representing you, so I'm not going to take any action as to that. You have a great day, sir.
Thank you, Judge, and I appreciate you moving the case up this morning. Thank you so
problem.
much. Have a great weekend.
Have a great day. All right, let's get Ms. Monday. Which would. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Kelly Monday.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Kelly Monday.
All right, Ms. Monday, you are here in 2021 MM 2719AO on charge of battery. Reviewed the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. I have a witness, and Mr. Leopard, can you put your name on the record for counsel?
Joe Leopard on behalf of Miss Monday.
Sir, can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Yes, Keith Strait, S-T-R-A-I-T.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, put your hand down. Sir, can you tell me how you know Miss Monday?
We are married.
And are you afraid of her?
No, Your Honor, not at all. Not even in list bit.
Do you want to have contact with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anything like this happened in the past?
There was one incident, an isolated incident several years ago. Other than that, there's no history whatsoever of any violence between us.
If something like this were to happen in the future, would you feel comfortable contacting law enforcement?
Yes, Your Honor, I would.
State, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Leopard.
Hey, Your Honor.
All right. State, I got a question. The facts are domestic violence related, but the charge is just battery.
Yes, Your Honor. As battery is a lesser included of
No,
battery
I just want to, like,
TV, we'd ask that you find for
all right.
TV.
So, Ms. Monday, as is not being charged as a dangerous crime, we'll release you on pretrial release in this case. Condition your pretrial release that you to have no hostile contact with your husband. No hostile contact means this: you're allowed to have arguments with him about leaving the toilet seat up, leaving a mess, doing things that normal couples have arguments about. However, those arguments cannot turn violent. They cannot turn threatening. They cannot come to the point whether he's going to call law enforcement or somebody that sees or hears you all arguing is going to call law enforcement. Because if that happens, you will be arrested. You're spending many of your time in this case here with me at the Orange County Jail. Do you understand that?
I understand, Your Honor.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You also may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. I'll give you 30 days before any narcotics test happens, but the alcohol testing will happen immediately. You already have Mr. Leopard representing you, so I'm not going to take any action as to your representation. You have a great day, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'd like to be heard as to probable cause and the terms of pretrial release, briefly.
Go ahead.
If Your Honor notices the part where Mr. Stray indicates that he was slapped or punched, we almost always see in these domestic violence or battery cases that it was against our will or that the victim wrote a statement. In this case, there was no indication that the slapping and punching, which is a common interaction between two sexual beings, in this instance, there's no indication that Mr. Stray did it against his will. As for the pretrial release, as Your Honor knows from the IA information sheet, Ms. Monday is a valuable member of my team, and she doesn't even take lunch. She works well over 50 hours a week, and so every day that she's out at UA, from just a selfish standpoint, because of how amazing Ms. Monday is, I would ask the court release her on bond, as she would prefer, so she doesn't have to keep missing work for UAs.
As to your pretrial or probable cause argument, there's nothing in the jury instruction that tells me that against his will is part of the jury instruction. It's a defense that you can raise, but as to your release for on your own, as to UAs in this incident, in the police report, both parties admitted to being out and drinking alcohol. There's led to this, which is part of the reason it led to this. So I believe that's a reasonable restriction or release condition as to her case. So have a great day, ma'am.
Sure. How often was the UAs?
Whenever pretrial release tells her to go.
All right, thank you, Judge. That's all we have before the court.
All right. All right, sir, tell me your name.
Mark.
Mr. Mickey, you're here this morning in 2021 CF 4559 AO for a probable cause determination as to counts 1 and 2 of that case. State, did you have any other supplemental affidavits you want to present to the court?
Yes, Your Honor. The officer did send me a new supplement. May I approach?
Yes, ma'am. You already showed Ms. George? Okay. All right, Ms. George, do you want to take a look at this before?
Do you want to see my laptop real fast? I'm sorry. I forgot to ask you this morning. It doesn't matter, either way.
I think I already appointed a public defender to represent you in all your cases.
Yes. Okay.
Say, what are you asking that I do as to count 1 of the charging affidavit?
Your Honor, state asked that you hold him no bond pending an Arthur hearing, given that this is a life offense.
Ms. George?
No argument, we reserve the right to have an argument.
Mr. Kamasi, as to count 1 of 2021 CF 4559 AO, of course, going to hold you at no bond as to that charge. Going to set your bond in count 2 in amount of $1,000. Condition of your bond, I think already, the other counts remain stayed.
Your Honor,
This-
I believe before you set 4,000 for the firearm and 2,500 for the motor vehicle. When you found
Which-
PC previously 2 days ago, I believe.
Was it as to that charge or that sounds like more of the,
As to count 3 of that case number, the 4559, you set the grand theft firearm at 4,000 and the grand theft motor vehicle at
no,
25.
that's what maybe it happened the day before. Let me check, see that notes in there.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe it was 2 days ago since this has been a
All right, now,
reset.
and if I did that, it's $4,000 just to count 4, and then $2,500 just to, count 3 is $4,000, count 4 is $2,500. Condition your bonds that you're not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You may not have any contact with any victims or co-defendants in that case. You may not operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. And I guess, and no return to the scene of the burglary.
Count 2 is what?
1,000.
Count 3
And
is
4,000, yeah, and then 2,500.
She must be, he had other cases, so she must be getting.
We don't have a, yes, ma'am. Based on his criminal history, that's, he has extensive history. All right, sir, can you tell me your name?
Andai Lang.
Mr. Lang, you're here in 2021 CF 4566 AO on charge of home invasion. You're also here in 2021 CF 4638 AO on charge of home invasion with a weapon.
Your Honor, so
Miss,
what happened with that is it was a home invasion robbery.
Right.
I obtained a new affidavit from law enforcement for the home invasion with a weapon due to him having a knife. I assume that you were able to see that new
yep,
supplement.
so I guess I had a question. Was there a duplication? That's what happened? So how did we get 2 case numbers? That's all I was trying to figure out. That's all, I mean, I'm good with the deadly weapon and or firearm.
Yes,
That's
Your
the reason
Honor. That would be a mistake on law enforcement's part. It wasn't
Okay.
supposed to be a duplicate offense. It was supposed to be him updating the charge and resubmitting. So
Well, let me see what you got. Then we can try to figure out which case goes with what. All right.
it's also like a supplemental narrative to the narrative that's in 4566.
Yeah, I think the issue was how it was charged, not,
Yes, Your Honor.
so on the charging, face of the charging affidavit, it still says home invasion with a weapon. And the question, I think Judge Gibson was asking, was it gonna be home invasion with a firearm or deadly weapon?
Well, we didn't have that charge yesterday, Your Honor. We only had the home invasion.
We don't have plain home invasion.
We had plain home invasion yesterday.
Okay.
And
So-
I made the argument that it should be a PBL home invasion robbery with a deadly weapon due to him having a knife during the home
Right.
invasion.
Now,
So
we have home invasion with a weapon, which is still just a first-degree felony.
Your Honor, when I reached out to law enforcement, he said that was all that's in his system and it comes up as a life offense in his system.
It comes up as a life offense.
I think it's just the way that the narrative of that charge comes up, not the actual statute.
All right. Yeah, make sure, because I was looking at it this morning. So the charging affidavit says 812.135(2)B. So I'll make sure. 812.135, sub 2B says, if in the course of committing the home invasion, robbery, the person carries a weapon, the person commits a felony of the first degree punishable by the sentencing statutes in 775. So if 2A is life offense. Because 2A says, if in the course of committing the home invasion, robbery, the person carries a firearm or deadly weapon, the person commits a felony of the first degree punishable by imprisonment of the term of years not to exceed life in prison. So that's what Judge Gibson was raising. When I spoke to her this morning, we conferred. That's what she was raising with you all yesterday, was that if you want to charge if you want to say it's life offense, then it has to be home invasion with a deadly weapon or firearm.
Yes, Your Honor, the officer recharged it incorrectly again.
Because this seems to be a clerical situation, so I can give you the extra 24.
Please, Your Honor, I'll see if I can correct it.
All right, Mr. Lane, I'm going to reset you for tomorrow morning. I'll reach out to the emergency judge for the weekend, explain to them what's going on. I'm still going to hold you at no bond as to these two cases.
So I got two cases or one? Because I was.
You have really one case. We're going to get released on one of the cases. They need to, it's just a clerical situation that they're having an issue with. But right now, I'm going to hold you on no bond on both cases, and they'll fix it. There is probable cause for a home invasion. It's just not home invasion. And there's probable cause for home invasion with a firearm or deadly weapon. But the state only charged the home invasion. So I'm letting them charge what they want to charge. But I'm still gonna I can't hold them at no bond on the charge that they're holding right now. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna reset both cases for tomorrow. Just say for probable cause determination, but they need to, it's a clerical situation they need to fix. All right, Mr. Reddington, can you tell me your name, sir?
Sorry?
Can you tell me your name, sir?
Brian Reddington.
Mr. Reddington, you're here in 2021 MM225AW on charge of possession of drug paraphernalia.
Your Honor, this is one of the cases, I believe it came in with a co-defendant, and I believe additional charges are going to be filed. So I'd just ask for a bond.
Yeah, I think I reset him because he was in the hospital.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, I did find probable cause last time I reviewed your charging affidavit. You're going to stay your bond in this case in the amount of, I think it's $500.
Yes, Your Honor.
$500. Condition of your bond may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. Want to appoint a public defender to represent you. You also have a fugitive warrant that I don't have any information on, but that may keep you from being released. All right, have a great day, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Zoe Black.
Ms. Black, you're here in 2021 CF 4600AO on charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in count one in an amount of $2,000, count two in an amount of $500. Condition of your bond is that you have no contact with the victim. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return to this residence with law enforcement to retrieve any property you have any personal property you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you in this case. You're out on bond in 2020 MM 857 AW for a petty theft. Court's going to revoke that bond. We're going to set a new bond at $0 in that case. Want to appoint a public defender in that case if you hadn't already been appointed. Have a great day, ma'am. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Earl Jones.
Mr. Jones, you are here in 2021 CF 4599AO on a charge of battery, domestic violence by strangulation, battery, dating violence. The court did find probable cause for your arrest as to those two charges. I'm going to set your bond in count one in the amount of $1,000, count two, $500. Conditional your bond, you need to have no contact with this victim. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I give you a one-time return to any shared residence to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. I give you 30 days before the first narcotics test happens, but after that, the test will be active. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you, sir. Have a great day. Can you tell me your name, sir?
David McKeever.
Say it again.
David McKeever.
Sir, you're here in 2021 CF 4483AO on charge of aggravated battery and domestic violence. The court did the judge signed your warrant in this case has already found probable cause for your arrest. I have a witness in the witness booth. Ma'am, can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Therese Brown, Brown.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, none but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, put your hand down. Can you tell me how you know Mr. McQuarrie?
We are roommates.
All right. And are you afraid of him?
No.
Are you still roommates?
Yes.
Has anything like this happened in the past?
No.
If something like this were to happen in the future, will you feel comfortable contacting law enforcement?
Yes.
Did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
No.
State, you have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. McQuarrie, we're going to set your bond in this case in an amount of $1,000. It's going to be conditioned with pretrial release supervision. You to have no hostile contact with the victim in this case. No hostile contact means this. You're all allowed to have disagreements. Everybody in the world is not supposed to agree. However, those disagreements cannot turn violent. They cannot turn threatening. They cannot come to the point where she's going to call law enforcement or somebody that sees or hears you all arguing is going to call law enforcement. Because if that happens, you will be arrested. You're spending the remainder of your time here with me at the Orange County Jail. Do you understand that?
Understood.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You understand that? All right. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you. Have a great day. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Ursula Franklin Nicholas.
Is Nicholas your last name or first name?
Yes.
Last name?
Yes.
All right, sir, you're here in 2021 CF 4642AO on charge of MDMA or possession of MDMA or ecstasy, battery, domestic violence, and possession of cannabis. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to stay your bond in count one in the amount of $1,000. Count two, I'm going to set your bond in the amount of $500. Count three, I'm going to stay your bond in the amount of $100. Condition your bond, you have no contact with this victim. You are to maintain a separate residence from that victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. May be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. I'll give you 30 days before the first narcotics test happens, but after that, the test will become active. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you in this case. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
Sir.
All right, did I say no weapons and firearms, right?
You didn't.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? Mr. O'Neill, you're here in 2021 CF 4567 AO on charge of battery domestic violence and aggravated assault domestic violence. I believe the judge signing your warrant in this case has already found probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in count 1 in the amount of $1,000, count 2 in the amount of $2,000. Condition of your bond did not have no contact with this victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from that victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence to retrieve any personal items with law enforcement. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. I'll give you 30 days before the first narcotics test happens. After that, the test will become active. You're also here in 2020 CF 13726 AO for a failure to appear warrant. Judge signed your warrant, set your bond amount of $1,500. And you're also here in 2020 CF 13865 for another failure to appear warrant. The judge in that case set your bond at $0. I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you in all your cases. You have a great day, sir. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Phillips.
Mr. Phillips, you're here in 2021 CF 4625 AO on a charge of grand theft motor vehicle and battery domestic violence. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to stay your bond in count 1 in the amount of $2,500. Count 2, I'm going to set your bond amount of $2,500. Condition of your bond had no contact with this victim. You're to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You also may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. I'll give you 30 days before the first narcotics test happens. After that, the test will become active. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you. You have a question? Ask Ms. George, please. That's fine. Yeah. You could, no. Once you go to the location that they tell you to go to, take your test. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Zach Wildman.
Mr. Wildman, you're here in 2021 CF 4652 AO on charge of battery domestic violence by strangulation, battery dating violence, tampering with a witness and hinder communication to law enforcement. I did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Ma'am, can you tell me, a witness in witness booth, ma'am, can you tell me your name and spell your last name for me?
Audra Hawisher, Hawisher.
Ms. Arbisher, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, none but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Can you tell me how you know Mr. Wildman?
We've been dating for about 4.5 years.
All right. Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Has anything like this happened in the past?
No.
Did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
No.
If something like this were to something like this were to happen in the future, would you feel comfortable contacting law enforcement?
Yes.
Say, you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. George.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Wildman, I'm going to set your bond to count 1 amount of $1,000, count 2, 500, count 3, 500, be subject to pretrial release supervision, that you have no hostile contact with the victim. No hostile contact means this: you are allowed to have disagreements with her. However, those disagreements cannot turn violent. They cannot turn threatening. They cannot come to the point whether she's going to call law enforcement or somebody that sees or hears you all arguing is going to call law enforcement. Because if that happens, you will be arrested. You're spending the remaining of your time here with me at the Orange County Jail. Do you understand that? You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would really like for him not to get a felony charge. I feel as if the strangulation it did not happen. I feel
I don't control what's charged. The state of Florida is sitting to your right, controls what charges will be filed. Those are the charges he was arrested for, and based on the affidavit charges I found probable cause for. My job in this hearing is to set release conditions, which I've already done. The only question I had left from Mr. Wildman was that, were you planning to hire your own attorney, or would you want me to appoint a public defender to represent you?
Public defender, Your Honor, but may
All
I
right.
have a word with him or her?
Say again?
May I have a brief word with him or her?
The public defender? Yes.
Your Honor, I also believe they're from South Carolina. Do you have any objection to them returning to South Carolina?
I was going to address that. Next. Yeah. All right, Mr. Wildman, I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you. The state brought up that you live in South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
I will allow you to return to South Carolina, but with this warning. Don't violate my orders in South Carolina. You want to be arrested in South Carolina? You'll have to ride a bus from jail to jail, a little van, to get you back down here to Orange County. I'll see you in about a month and a half to 2 months from South Carolina, all right?
Sir, I totally understand, and my sincerest apologies to the state.
All right, have a great day, sir. All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Leon Champion Barber III.
Mr. Barber, you're here in 2021 MM 2717 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. All right. I'll take a water break while we're doing that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Sir.
All right. Sir, you're here in 2021 MM 2717 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case amount of $2,500. Condition of your bond that you have no contact with this victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence that you may have with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You're subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. I'll give you 30 days before the first narcotics test happens, but I'll give you 30 days before the first narcotics test happens. The alcohol testing will happen immediately. You may not possess any weapons. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir.
Your Honor, I believe he said he didn't understand.
Which part did you not understand?
I have no understanding why I can't have a beer, or why is this related to this? I have no understanding.
Here, make sure I read what's there.
I wasn't drugged or under
wait.
any influence when I was arrested.
I believe the victim made a statement regarding them having an argument over drugs.
If I remember correctly, that's what the argument was about.
Yes, Your Honor.
No, it was about me smoking pot in the house. Like,
Well, unless you have a valid card to do that, can't do that.
well, why am I restricted from drinking? I don't understand. I had to go through this regimen of no understanding. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm confused.
Well, seems that alcohol, drugs, causing friction between this relationship or problems in your life right now. So you may want to just, back off that for a little bit. I'm ordering you to back off for a little while until you can get this case resolved.
Your Honor, he does have reporting requirements as well.
I can't hear you. That's right. All right, you have 48 hours as part of your release conditions as well to report to the sheriff's office once you are released to register as a violent sexual predator or sexual offender.
Right?
All right, have a great day.
I have no idea what that.
All right, tell me your name, sir. I can't hear you.
Aneudi Correa Guadalupe.
All right.
All right.
Mr. Cardera, you're here in 2021 MM 243AW on 3 counts of battery domestic violence. I reviewed the charging affidavit in this case. I found probable cause for 2, but as the stepfather, in my review of the affidavit, nobody actually said it looks like he may have been injured, but nobody said this defendant was the cause of that injury.
I understand, Your Honor.
All right.
I'm not asking for 24 hours as there's 2 other counts.
You say you want 24 hours?
No,
you
Your
don't?
Honor, I'm not
Okay.
asking for it as there are 2 other counts.
All right, sir, I'm going to set your bond in count 1 in an amount of $500, count 2 in an amount of $500. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance as to count 3. Condition of your bond is you have no contact with the victims in that case. You're not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms in that case. In this case, you must turn over any weapons or firearms you have to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You must maintain a separate residence from the victims. I'll give you a one-time return to the residence with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. Is there any other release condition in the state you're asking me for?
No, Your Honor.
Is he on juvenile probation or is it he's on juvenile, like a JDAP or something?
In December of 2020, he was placed on pretrial diversion in a juvenile case. We
So
can't
JDAP?
see if he's still on it or not.
1 second.
We
I'll
can't
try
see
to
that.
check my system.
I'm trying to figure out what diversion program he's in so that I can kind of tell him what's going to happen next. And then because he's 18 now, was it to his 20th,
We
21st
generally
birthday,
have
19th
Jurisdiction
birthday?
until 19, yes, Your Honor.
Did I appoint a public defender? All right.
Your Honor, it does look like he's still in a restorative justice program.
Okay.
It looks like that is supposed to cease on July 8th of 2021.
All right, so that's the new program. All right, sir, you still may get a notice to appear in front of your juvenile justice judge down at JDC. So just be aware of that as part of the while this case is pending. All right, have a great day, sir.
All right, thank you.
Can you tell me your name, sir?
Sean Eubanks.
Mr. Eubanks, you're here in 2021 MM2725AO on charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit. In this case, I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond, in this case, amount of $500. Condition of your bond, you'd be subject to pretrial release supervision. You'd have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence that you have to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I will allow you to return to Virginia. However, don't violate my orders in Virginia. If you violate my orders in Virginia, you will be arrested. I'll see you in about 2 months.
Okay.
All right? I want to appoint a public defender to represent you. Have a great day. Can you tell me your name, ma'am?
Wildelice Herrera.
Ma'am, you're here in 2021 MM2726AO on charge of battery domestic violence. Court did review the charging affidavit. In this case, I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond, in this case, amount $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. You have no contact with the victim in this case. You have to maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you. If you have a question, Ms. George can answer it for you.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Van Tomlinson.
Mr. Tomlinson, you're here in 2021 MM2724AO on charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit. In this case, I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond, in this case, amount $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. That you have no contact with the victim. You need to maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return to any shared residence to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. You have any questions about the no contact order?
So the first time I get my stuff, can that be, do I have to make an appointment with
You need to call law enforcement.
law enforcement and
Yep.
they'll escort me to the,
Correct. You meet law enforcement where they tell you to meet them. They go with you to the property or to the location. You get your personal items. Now, you're not going to be able to, don't bring a U-Haul truck.
no.
They're going
it's
to, they're going
just
to,
clothes.
work tools, tools of the trade, things you need to, overnight bags, stuff like that. TVs, couches, all other kind of things like that. It's not going to happen, all right?
It's just like an overnight bag. I don't have any clothes.
And just say, some people, I say one-time return, they show up with a U-Haul truck and then law enforcement tells them, well, we're going to have to reschedule. So don't do that. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
I'm honored to you.
Sir, you're here in 2021 CT 2979AW on charges of driving license suspended. You're also here in 2021 MM 2732AO on charges of providing false information to law enforcement. I reviewed the charging affidavits in those cases, did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to stay your bonds in those cases amount of $500 each. Law enforcement did file a violation of probation on view in Pinellas County case, 2020 CF 5616. In that case, I'm going to hold you on that violation of probation at zero bond. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you. You have a great day, sir. Tell me your name, sir. I'll cover your face.
Roberto Favela.
All right, sir, you're here in 2021 CT 696AW on charge of no valid driver's license. I reviewed the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. States you make a plea offer in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer is a withhold, credit time served. He also does have another open, no valid that he picked up on 4/11.
Was it an
I don't believe that
NTA?
information or anything has been filed on it yet, but that's partially the reason for a withhold on this case.
So he has two open cases. Can we resolve both cases?
I don't believe the other case has an information filed on it, Your Honor.
It's a citation case, so if it's a citation file, we're ready to rock and roll.
I don't think it was.
If you could give me the case number, and then we can discuss all his cases. Oh, I see it now. It's the 2021 CT 630AW case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're offering withholds on both cases, or this one?
An adjudication on one and a withhold on the other.
All right. Mr. Fabo, the state of Florida is offering you to resolve the two cases you have outstanding. One of them is 2021 CT 630AW. In that case, they're offering you a withhold adjudication of guilt and court costs. As to the case you're arrested for here today, 2021 CT 696AW, they're offering an adjudication of guilt and court costs. Did you want to accept those offers from the state of Florida?
I believe the 630 is the previous one, and the 696 is the one he's here for today.
Yeah, that's why I did withholds first and then adjudication second.
Yes, sir, resolve, Your Honor.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, put your hand down. Sir, you're here in 2021 CT 630AW, as well in 2021 CT 696AW, on charges of no valid driver's license in each case. Each of those are second-degree misdemeanors. Each one of them are punishable by 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand that?
I do, sir.
Do you want to enter pleas of guilty or no contest to resolve each of these cases?
No contest.
Oh, I plead guilty, sir.
All right. Do you understand by pleading guilty that you're going to waive all the rights listed out on the plea form that are in front of you right now?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding properly.
Are you not understanding me, or you not understand what's going on?
The terms, I'm not understanding.
Did you read the plea form that's in front of you? You have I think you have a pink copy of the same form right there.
Okay, Your Honor.
Have you had an opportunity to review the plea form in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up that are listed on that form?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, sir.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
I have.
What is that mental health illness?
I'm diagnosed with depression, sir.
All right. Are you suffering from any of the symptoms of your depression right now?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness? Oh, sorry. You understand, if you're not a United States citizen, these pleas could subject you to deportation.
So, go ahead, say again?
If you're not a United States citizen, you can be deported from this country based on these pleas. Do you understand that?
Citizen, sir.
All right. It reviewed the charging affidavit in this case did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to accept your plea of guilty, find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I'm going to start my sentencing with 2021 CT 630AW. As to that charge, I'm going to withhold adjudication of guilt. There's a notice of appear case. I don't think you have any credit time served. I'm going to impose the court cost, the cost of prosecution in that case of $301. The court, I'm going to talk about payment at the end. In 2021, CT 696AW, court's going to adjudicate you guilty as to that charge, give you credit for the 2 days that you spent in the Orange County Jail with 2 days credit time served.
He has 1 day.
Sorry, 1 day in the Orange County Jail with 1 day credit time served. The court costs and cost of prosecution in that case of $306. I'm going to combine these two costs, court costs for payment. I'm going to give you 2 years from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You have 30 days to appeal your judgment and sentence in each case. Do you understand that?
To appeal?
Yep. It has to be in writing.
Okay. Yes, sir, I understand.
All right, have a great day, sir. All righty. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Genesis Fisher.
Ms. Fisher, you're here in 2021 CT 2982AO on a charge of reckless driving. You're also here in 2021 MM 2730AO on charge of resisting officer without violence. The review of the charging affidavit in this case did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to stay your bonds in each case in the amount of $500.
Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt credit time served.
On which one?
Both, right? Both? Yep.
And you guys asked me not to take any action on her out of a felony case?
Yes, Your Honor. Due to the fact that she is resolving this case today, we would ask that you take no action on the out on bond case.
What I can do, I'll give her another bond, but I ain't gonna take action though.
Yes, Your Honor, I explained all of that to her as well.
All right, what fine? There's a minimum $25 fine. Are you asking for more than that on the reckless driving?
$100, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Fisher, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And put your hand down. Ma'am, you're here in 2021 CT 2982AO on charge of reckless driving. That's punishable by 90 days in the county jail and up to a $500 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're also here in 2021 MM 2730AO on charge of resisting officer without violence. That's a first degree misdemeanor. It's punishable up to 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
What plea would you like to enter on behalf for these two cases, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Do you understand by entering a plea of no contest in these two cases that you're given the right, those rights listed on the plea form in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, sir.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
No, sir.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
You understand by entering this plea, if you're not a United States citizen, it could subject you to deportation.
Yes, sir.
I did have opportunity to review the charging affidavits in these cases, did find a factual basis for the entering of your plea. I accept your plea of no contest, find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I'll start my sentencing in 2021, CT 2982AO. I'll adjudicate you guilty as to that charge. I give you credit for the 2 days that you spent in the Orange County Jail. I impose the fine of $100 plus the court costs and cost of prosecution in that case of $306.
Can you say that again?
There's a $100 fine, and there's court costs and cost of prosecution amount of $306 in that case. I'll talk about payment at the end. You're also, in 2021, MM 2730AL, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty as to that charge. I'll give you credit for the 2 days that you spent in the Orange County Jail with 2 days credit time served. The court costs and cost of prosecution in that case of $273. I'll combine these two costs for payment. I'll give you 2 years from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You have 30 days to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're out on bond in 2020, CF 15434AO. I believe you were arrested for a, how many charges on the information now?
It is shooting and throwing into an occupied vehicle, so an F2, and improper exhibition of a weapon, an M1.
As the count one, shooting into an occupied, I'm going to revoke the bond as it was set in that case. I'm going to set bond in count one in the amount of $5,000, count two in the amount of $2,000. Condition of your bond, not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You may not have any contact with any victims or witnesses from that case, and you may not return to the scene of the location where the incident took place. Want to point, the public defender is already on that case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have a great day, ma'am. All right, got a couple people bonded. And now, ma'am, can you tell me your name?
Oh, Antonia Ravano?
Mr. Urbano, you're here in 2020 CT 8115AO on failure to appear warrant. The judge signed your warrant, set your bond amount of $1,000. However, we're going to ask the state of Florida if they have an offer to resolve your case if you are wanting to today.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is a withhold credit time served. However, I did look over her history and her driving record, and I do not see any other subsequent dwellises, which is how it's currently charged.
Yep.
So if she would like to plea today, I would amend to 322.342A, which is an M2 dwellis, as she does not have any subsequent offenses, and the plea would be a withhold credit time served.
All right, do you want to resolve your case today?
Yes. Yes.
All right, state, do you want to make that amendment?
Yes, Your Honor. Do you want me to just do it on the record?
Yep.
State orally amends 20 CT 8115AO to 322.342A, M2, driving while license suspended.
All right. All right, ma'am, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, put your hand down. Ma'am, you're here in 2020 CT 8115AO on a charge of driving license suspended. That's a second-degree misdemeanor. It's punishable up to 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Did you want to enter a plea of guilty or no contest to resolve this case today?
No contest.
Do you understand by entering a plea of no contest, you can waive all the rights listed on the plea form that's in front of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
Nope.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
No.
You understand if you're not a United States citizen, entering this plea could subject you to deportation.
Yes.
All right. I did have an opportunity to review the court file in this case in chambers this morning. I do find a factual basis contained therein. I'm going to accept your plea of no contest, find that your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I will withhold adjudication of guilt. I'll give you credit for the
2 days.
2 days that you spent in Orange County Jail with 2 days credit time served. The court costs and costs of prosecution in this case are $301. I'll give you 1 year from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You have 30 days from today's date to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing. Do you understand that? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. All right, have a great day, man.
You too.
Just for the record, Milroy and Pierre both bonded?
Say again?
Milroy and Pierre bonded?
Yes. And then my last one I have is Stanley and bonded as well. All right, does anybody have anything else before we go into recess?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Madam Clerk, did I forget anything? Did I forget anything? Before I go into recess? Stanley bonded, and I gave you. All right, take us into recess.
For the Office of the Public Defender.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Carlos Morales, State Certified Spanish Court Interpreter, previously sworn.
Good afternoon. If you could please connect to the headset. Sir, please tell me your name.
Tobias Cruz Castro.
You're here because a capias was issued for your arrest in 21 MM 80AA for failing to appear for arraignment on a charge of possession of drug paraphernalia. The bond on that charge is $2,000, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Good luck, sir.
Okay.
Please tell me your name.
Nelson Bravo.
Nelson Bravo.
Yeah.
A capias was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 2938AO for dealing in stolen property and receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification of ownership or identification. The bond is $5,000 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim, any co-defendants or witnesses in the case, and you're not allowed to return to the scene. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Good luck, sir. 500. Please tell me your name.
César Escobar Lugo, Julio César Escobar Lugos.
Julio César Escobar Lugo.
You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest out of Brevard County in 20 CT 52452 for a charge of failing to appear for a traffic arraignment on DUI, no valid driver's license, and I think that's it. Your bond is $3,000. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and we'll notify Brevard County that you're here so that they can come and get you. Good luck, sir.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Is that it for Spanish?
Yes.
That's all we need for the interpreter at this time. Thank you.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
Do we know what case he's here on? Oh. Is that one? Is that this guy? Please tell me your name.
What?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Your name?
What's your name?
Jeremy Keller.
You're here in 21 MM 2720AO, charged with battery and criminal mischief. At this time, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond will be $500 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
I'll stay away from that guy.
All right. And don't send any messages to him through friends or family, okay? All right. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. This parking garage, is that, you work there?
No. I've never worked a day in my life.
Your Honor.
Oh, you sleep there.
He was sleeping there.
Mr. Pizza works there.
The victim was.
All right, sir, I'm going to tell you that you can't go back to that parking garage. You understand that?
Okay.
All right, are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
How long am I doing?
Well, I didn't sentence you today. You have a bond, so you can bond out. But this isn't over. The state is still at this time prosecuting you for these 2 crimes. So you have to contact the Public Defender's Office because that's your lawyer who's representing you. But you have a bond, so you can bond out. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name. A warrant was issued for your arrest in 20 CF 133468O, charging you with robbery with a weapon, fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement officers, petty theft, and battery. Another judge has already found probable cause in this case. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Yes, Ms. May?
Your Honor, we actually filed an information in this case in December of 2020. So the charges that are on this warrant are not correct because as of right now, that robbery with a weapon is potentially a life. What we ended up filing was a robbery, an F2, fleeing and attempting to eluding, an F3, and a no valid, which was a second-degree misdemeanor.
All right.
I have the statute numbers if you would like them.
I think we do need that.
We filed the robbery F2, which is 812.13 sub 2 sub C. We filed the fleeing and attempting to elude, which is an F3, which is 316.1935 sub 2 sub 2. And then a no valid, which is a second degree misdemeanor, which is 322.03.
All right. So at this time, your bond will be $5,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand what that means? You're not allowed to return to Macy's for any reason. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Was the child with her when this took place?
1 second, Your Honor.
I can't hear you.
She was part of the code, like we both, like, she got arrested too.
The child?
Yeah, I think her mom got arrested for her.
So she's not your child?
No.
All right, I'll also order that you're not allowed to have any contact with any co-defendants in the case. Do you understand that? Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor. And I just.
Wait, was this at the Florida Mall?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not allowed to go to the Florida Mall. Any store in the Florida Mall. All right, did you have a question?
It's just 3.
No, it's 3. The state filed an information with only 3 charges.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck. Please tell me your name. A warrant was issued for your arrest in 20 CF 2167 for violating your probation by not being in your residence when instructed to be there, and failing to attend the substance abuse evaluation as ordered, by also failing to be at your residence when they attempted residence verification, changing your residence without first procuring the permission of your probation officer, failing to maintain residency at a specific address, and failing to undergo a drug evaluation.
Your Honor, me and this lady who is my probation officer, the judge, not the judge, but my attorney has already called my aunt. I've been there for 7 months with her. I don't know what's wrong with this lady. She violated me 4 times on this charge. I pay rent to stay at this residency. When she comes, I don't know when she's coming, but if I'm not there, the people that I live with work, and I don't sit there in their house all day because I'm unemployed. But I do live there. My lawyer has already barricaded with this, with my aunt who I live with that I pay rent to live there. So this is my 4th violation on the charge that I've already served, not only jail time for it, but probation time for it. I'm asking if if it can be terminated, my probation can be terminated.
I don't have the jurisdiction to do that. So do you have an attorney or do you have the public defender's office as your attorney? Do you have a private attorney or the public defender?
Ergens or Jenkins or something, yeah. Robert Wesley is my public defender.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. They can file a motion in front of the trial judge, but at this time, there's no bond authorized on this warrant, and I can't change it. So you're going to have to talk to that judge about those things.
All right.
But call the public defender's office right away. Good luck, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Carmen.
You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in 19 CF 1058 out of Lake County for failing to appear on a grand theft charge. There is no bond authorized on that. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you and will notify Lake County that you're here.
Okay, and now was that the same one that I did time on one time in 2019, and then I took probation. I violated that probation last year in December and got released from Seminole and on Easter of 2020.
I don't know. I don't have the history of the case. I only have the warrant.
Okay, so since I already have time served and all this, will they let me know within the week? Or am I being transferred to Lake County?
No, you'll be transferred to Lake County. There's no bond, so you can't bond out. So they'll have to come and get you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck.
That's the lady. He's mental health, Your Honor.
All right, this is 21 MM 2718. I'll appoint the public defender's office.
Your Honor, could we try to reset for tomorrow? There was an offer in his case.
Does the state have any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then we'll do that. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. We'll reset it for tomorrow. Good afternoon, sir. Please tell me your name.
Michael Lee Montgomery, ma'am.
All right, you're here in 21 MM 272780, charged with soliciting without a permit and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. There is probable cause here, sir. Let me ask Ms. George, did you have a chance to talk to him and was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no info on the possession of cannabis. I did go over all the rights with Mr. Montgomery. He understands those rights, and he would like to accept the state's offer here today.
Mr. Montgomery, I need you to raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you heard what Ms. George just told the court. Is that what you want to do here today?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering a plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand we're not going to have a jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to enter this plea other than the state's offer? Do you have any questions for me about the rights you're giving up? You understand if you're on probation, this plea could violate that?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a United States citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation? All right, at this time, sir, how do you wish to plead to the charge of soliciting without a permit?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. At this time, did you say adjudicate?
Yeah.
I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the
2 days.
2 days that you've been in jail. Sir, I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay them. Do you have a job?
No, not at this moment, ma'am, but I will be here soon. I got something going on.
Okay, I'll give you a year to make that payment. That's the longest I can give you.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the state have an announcement to make?
Yes, Your Honor. The state announces a no information as to count 2, the possession of cannabis, and I'll be following that up with a no information notice to the clerk here shortly.
All right, and I'll take no action on your out on bond case at this time. Good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Christopher Scott.
You're here charged with trespass in 21 MO 474. There is probable cause. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, a withhold of adjudication, credit time served. I did go over all the rights with Mr. Scott. He understands those rights, and he would like to accept the state's offer here today.
Please raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, so you heard what Ms. George just told the court. Is that what you want to do here today?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for the court about those rights?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything other than what the state's offer is to get you to enter this plea today?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're on probation, this plea could violate that?
Yes.
You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea could deport you?
Yes.
At this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of trespass?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in jail. I have to order that you pay court costs, and I'll give you a year to pay them. Good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing. Thank you, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
On Alan Ambro.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in case number 21 CF 4616, charging you with burglary of a dwelling, criminal mischief, and petty theft. Another judge has already found probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $3,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2, $500 on count 3. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means? You're also not allowed to return to 685 Large Oak Lane, Winter Garden, Florida. Do you understand?
When you say no contact, that means there was no victim in that.
It's a dwelling.
It was an empty house. I don't see how they got it as a dwelling when it was an empty house.
So it's a house, and someone owns the house.
No, it's a brand new built. It was a brand new house that was built, and nobody even lived in the house.
So you can't have contact with anyone at Justice and Wood Builders. You understand? All right, are there any other conditions the state would request?
No weapons, Your Honor.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Do you understand? Good luck, sir.
Felony, he's behavior.
21 CF 464380, possession of methamphetamine and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent him.
Will waive, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, counselor. His bond is $1,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2. He's not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Have contact with known drug dealers. And at this time, I'm revoking both of his out on bond cases.
Benson, bonded.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. Please tell me your name.
My name is Hector Carrion.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 4479, charging you with aggravated assault with a firearm and discharging a firearm in public. Another judge has already found probable cause in this case. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Excuse me?
Yes.
I believe my family bought me a lawyer yesterday. They said that's what they did. And I haven't got to talk to anybody on the phone, so I don't know how this works.
All right, so you think that your family hired an attorney to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
So you don't want me to appoint the Public Defender's Office?
I don't know how this works. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
So
There's no NOA,
Is
Your Honor,
Is
yet.
there any way I can call my family real quick and see how that works? I'm not trying to waste your.
no, you can't call them from the courtroom. But what I'm going to do is appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. And if you do, or your family hires an attorney, they can withdraw. But at this time, you have an attorney who's representing you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Does the state wish to be heard on bond?
Your Honor, I just asked for reasonable bond. He looks like he has little history, but given the nature of the offense and given that there was a discharge of the firearm, I would just ask that you set a reasonable bond in the case.
Your bond will be $10,000 on count 1, $2,000 on count 2. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victims, witnesses, or anyone involved in this case. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. This firearm has to be surrendered to the sheriff's office within 24 hours of your release. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also not allowed to return to the Barnes & Noble at 2418 East Colonial Drive. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would ask that you place him on pretrial release and reduce his bond amount. My client has no convictions here in Florida, 0 failures to appear. You could place him on pretrial release and reduce the bond amount on count 1.
Counselor, at this time, just reading this affidavit, I'm not inclined to do that. This was really dangerous. What says the state?
Your Honor, again, I'll leave it within your discretion. Since there was a discharge, I agree with Your Honor that it was an extremely dangerous crime. I believe the firearm was pointed through the windshield, and a round was expelled from the firearm that ultimately hit a light post, so it could have been a very different case, so.
And Your Honor, I would just point out my client is disputing those facts. And because he has no criminal convictions here in Florida, I'm just asking that you reduce the bond on count 1, put him on pretrial release. If he violates, he'll be brought back here before you, hold at no bond. So I would just ask that you take that into consideration, that he doesn't have that criminal.
I'm not inclined to do that, Counselor, but based on your argument here today, here's what I'll do. I'm leaving count 1 at $10,000 bond. I'll treat count 2 as a subsidiary bond, so I'll make that $150. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Counselor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, I'm Victor Mead. I'm here with Travis Jones.
Thank you. This is case number 21 CF 3975. A warrant was issued for your arrest, Mr. Jones, for fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer at a high rate of speed. Another judge has already found probable cause for this. Counsel, did you wish to be heard on bond?
Briefly, Your Honor, Mr. Jones came in to see me yesterday, wondering whether he might have a warrant for him. We checked, he found out. I had him turn himself in yesterday afternoon, and he's got ties to the community, so we're asking for a reasonable bond. Not to say the court would set an unreasonable bond. And I don't think he has any sort of criminal.
Your Honor, he does have a very limited criminal history. It looks like it's mostly drug offenses and nonviolent offenses. At least the ones that he is convicted of. So the state agrees with Mr. Mead and asks that you set a reasonable bond.
I couldn't hear the last sentence, Counselor.
Just ask that you set a reasonable bond, Your Honor. I believe there is also some weight to Mr. Jones willingly turning himself in on this warrant.
Mr. Jones, you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work? Get close to the mic, okay? I want to hear you.
Landscaping.
All right, based on your attorney's arguments here today and the fact that you did turn yourself in last night, or today, whenever, I will take that into account. I would normally set this bond at probably $15,000. I'll set it at $2,500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are there any conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counselor.
See you then.
Have a nice day. Please tell me your name.
Edgar Joseph Pinero.
All right, Counselor.
Good afternoon, Judge. I'm Attorney Hugo Bobian, and I represent Edgar Joseph Pinero. We filed a notice of appearance and written plea of not guilty this morning at 11:38. We e-filed it. I just got in this case.
Thank you.
Judge, would you like a copy of those documents?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Probably not.
I don't think so. All right, sir, you've been charged with trafficking in oxycodone, greater than 7 grams, less than 14, possession of alprazolam, possession of drug paraphernalia with intent to sell, and carrying a concealed firearm. There is probable cause for your arrest on those things. Counsel, did you wish to be heard on bond?
Yes, Judge, just briefly. I've known Edgar Pinero for probably close to 10 years and his family. He is a candidate for drug court. If you look at the charges in this case, and I haven't seen all the police reports, but he was asleep in his car and cooperated fully with the police, and they searched his car and they found 13 oxycodone pills. That's what's charged as a 30-year felony and has made this bond $200,000. My understanding was that the new position of the state attorney in the court system was mere possession of drugs with not a dealer. He's never been a dealer. He has a criminal record for some stuff, mostly drug-related marijuana, but he now has a medical marijuana permit. But he had some drugs in the car, and he was asleep. He's been a resident of Central Florida for 19 years. He's employed in landscaping with his dad. He supports 2 infant children. He does have a drug problem, Judge, and I'm going to refer him to drug court. But frankly, I thought his bond was $20,000, and then I learned it was $200,000 when I got here. And there's no evidence that I know of that he's a drug dealer or anything like that, but his grandmother died last week, and he relapsed and took some stuff. He was asleep when the police found him, and so I understand he's going to have a bond, but gosh, I think $200,000 is outrageous for somebody that has a drug problem that wasn't hurting anybody.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Just a few things going off for Mr. DeBovian's statements to the court. I believe there was a total of 15 pills. I believe he stated there were 13. There were 15 total oxycodone pills and then 5 Xanax bars. I'd also like to point out, too, that they were all individually wrapped, which goes to that they're not for personal use. They're all individually wrapped. The officer also pointed to the area that he was sleeping in his vehicle being a high crime and highly violent area. And I do believe he also had a handgun in the vehicle, which also goes towards potentially it being a dealing situation and being individually wrapped with a handgun, and the location in which he was sleeping in his vehicle. So I just ask that you set a reasonable bond, given he does have some drug history, as well as he had a recent VOP in 2020.
And Counselor, I know you said you don't have all the police reports, but there was also a black digital scale found in the car, which is, I think, another reason they arrested him with the intent. Now, whether the state prosecutes it, I don't know.
He uses that to weigh marijuana, is it? Because he has a marijuana permit.
That was from my marijuana.
But there's no evidence that he's drug dealing, Judge, but he's possessing it, and he has a drug problem. I agreed with that. I just don't think he needs anything near $200,000 bond. He's just a landscaper. And he's got ties to the community. Been here for, what, 19 years? 23 years old, Judge.
I have a drug problem. I need help. And that's all it is. I have 2 kids that I'm trying to change my life for, and I have a problem. I don't know how to deal with my emotions. My grandmother just passed away, and I turned to drugs instead of going the right way. Like my father, he went to church, I would turn to drugs. And I'm being a man, and I'm saying I need help. I have 2 kids that I'm trying to change my life for. One is 5 weeks old, and this is not the life that I wanted. I've been doing good for a year, and I relapsed this week, and it messed me up. I'm being a man. I'm saying I'm wrong for that, and I do need drug court or some type of help with drugs because I have a problem with drugs. I can't take it. I can't do it by myself. I need help. I really need help, please.
I hear what you're saying. This court doesn't have jurisdiction to get you any help. But what you can do is have this conversation with the trial judge who's hearing your case.
We know who the trial judge is going to be? For the division?
I don't know the division. It's Judge Wooten, Division 20.
Okay. But Judge, I do think to assure that he shows up, he doesn't need a $200,000 bond in this case.
Listen, Mr. Pinero, I understand what you're telling this court today, and I'm going to assume that you're telling me the truth. But you have to understand that for a law enforcement officer and to this court, it very much looks like you're a drug dealer. You're falling asleep in your car outside a club. You have all the indicia in your car of dealing drugs. If you were just taking the pills, they wouldn't be individually wrapped. So it looks like you're a drug dealer. I understand you're telling me that you're not, and I'm going to believe you when you tell me that. Let me ask the state if you have any thoughts on bond on count 1.
Your Honor, I believe that's what the bond schedule is for this particular charge, so I believe it's reasonable under the circumstances, given that's what the state of Florida determines to be reasonable, but I'll leave it within your discretion.
Judge, he's telling me, and I haven't seen the police report, but he says the Xanax, the oxycodone was not individually.
It was
It was
all
in one plastic bag.
A big, sandwich bag. You would see that if you look in the police report, they say that it has a video, so if you the
Right, I can't see that, though.
Okay.
But I believe you. Listen, I'm believing you. I'm trusting that you're telling me the truth today.
I'm a man of my word. I have nothing to hide, man. I have an honest problem. I'm not a drug dealer. I purchased those because I have a problem with oxycodone and Xanax. I take those two. I've been had a problem. My family knows, and they've been trying to get me help, and I tried to get help, but it didn't work, you know? And I really do need help. I haven't tried to get help for what I'm saying is that I try to make excuses of why I don't need help, but I'm being a man, and that's the problem. I keep turning to drugs when I get upset, and it's not this is not working out for me, obviously.
Right, it's very much not.
We agree with that. We got you.
I'm going to tell you one last thing, for whatever it's worth. A lot of people go to drug rehab and then come right back out and do it again because you have to want to make a change. Now, again, you're telling this court you want to, I'm going to believe you. And based on that and your attorney's arguments today, what I'm going to do is reduce the bond on count 1 to $100,000. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will stay at $150 each. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. You understand?
I don't want nothing, man. I just want my...
Okay, you also can't possess a firearm or ammunition. So the firearm that you had, they confiscated, I'm sure, right?
I don't remember. I was off drugs.
Okay, all right. But if you get out and it's still there, you need to surrender that to the sheriff's office because you can't have that gun or any other gun.
Yes, ma'am. I don't want it.
I'll order that you're not allowed to return to Cloud 9 hookah time. Are there any other conditions the state would request? No contact with known drug dealers.
Your Honor, you're going to do random UA.
And you'll be subject to random drug screens. We'll give a 30-day grace period. I mean, no, because you have a marijuana card.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't need to do that. Okay. So the only drug that can be in your system if you have a prescription for it is marijuana, but you can't have oxycodone if you don't have a prescription. You understand that?
Yes, but the police had took my wallet, and that has my IDs and everything in it.
You'll get that out. When you bond out, you get all of your property back except the firearm.
It's gone. My wallet disappeared. The police said that they left it in the car, and my family took the car today, and the wallet's gone.
Oh.
So the police also, my mom had a wallet with money that I don't know what happened to it. They just put me in the car, and I couldn't see what was happening. They told me that they left everything. So I mean, the video, if they have a video, it'll show where I had all that stuff.
I don't think they're going to leave the wallet in the car.
They shouldn't have, unless they just didn't see it, but.
Asking for my wallet, and they kept saying that they're leaving it in the car. And I think I was under the influence, so I can't remember.
Right.
But I remember asking for my wallet multiple times, and he said, "Don't worry, it's in the car." And my wallet had money in it. And
All right, well, talk to your attorney about it. When you bond out, if for some reason you're unable to find it, he can work with you on that.
Okay.
All right, good luck, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
counselor.
Thank you, Judge.
She refused court.
20 CF 6224 is a warrant for petty theft with 2 priors, $2,500. I find her refusal a willing waiver of her appearance today. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent her. I'll stay the bond, no contact with the victim, no return to the scene. In 20 CF 853, petty theft, 2 prior convictions. It's a capious FTA for failing to appear for a plea hearing. I'll appoint the public defender's office in that as well. And I find her refusal to come to court a willing waiver of her appearance. Please tell me your name.
Santiago.
A warrant was issued for your arrest. In 21 CF 2478AO for failing to report or check in within 30 days as a sex offender. Another judge has already found probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $15,000. You must comply with all your reporting requirements. You understand that? You have to answer out loud.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir. Yes. Yes, I did. Please tell me your name.
Tommy Dixon.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 2184, charging you with armed burglary of an occupied dwelling, aggravated assault with a firearm, and battery. Another judge has already found probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Yes, Ms. May?
As to count one, state would ask that you hold a no bond pending an Arthur hearing.
I will do that. You'll have no bond on count 1, $5,000 bond on count 2, and $100 on count 3. You're not allowed to have any contact with any victim or witness in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You're not allowed to return to 4387 Royal Ivy Gardens Court for any reason at all. You understand that? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, also 4293 Cynthia Street.
And that address as well. You're not allowed to return there either. All right, are there any other conditions the state would request?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Good luck. Please tell me your name.
Javarius Harris.
He has an attorney.
Calling the attorney.
We're trying to get your attorney on the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Judge Gibson.
Afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Bono here.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. If you could tell me your name one more time.
Yes, Attorney Enid Bono here on behalf of Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris is here in the courtroom right now. This is 21 CF 460780. You're here charged with driving while license suspended as a habitual traffic offender. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond on this charge will be $2,500. Sir, you can't drive without a valid Florida driver's license. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Counsel, did you wish to be heard on that case?
No, Your Honor. I believe he has a CT case that's pending. Not sure if there is any bond set on that case.
Your Honor.
So there was a bond on that case? Hold on, Ms. May, yes?
That case was filed in February. It did come in as a felony. We then filed a second-degree misdemeanor duelist. At this time, I would ask that you revoke that bond, and if you are inclined to set new bond, to set a higher bond, given the offense that he's out on bond for, was the new charge that he also picked up.
Counselor, I am inclined to revoke his bond. While out on bond for driving while license suspended, he got arrested for another driving while license suspended.
Yes, Your Honor. Would the court consider granting him another bond on the CT case?
What reasonable conditions can this court place on him that will stop him from driving? He's demonstrated that there are no reasonable conditions. That's this court's concern.
Well, Your Honor, he just retained me. I'll be looking to his driving record. We'll have to see what we have to do to get him a valid driver's license.
Your Honor, I would also point to his convictions. He has a prior duelist HTO, he has a prior fleeing, and he also has a prior duelist, all convictions in the state of Florida.
So then why did your office charge it as a second-degree misdemeanor?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
That seems like an issue for the state attorney. However, you do have an extensive history of driving without a license. I just don't know what conditions this court can place on you.
Your Honor, can I please speak and say something?
Yes, everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you.
I understand. And I do agree, I have had past, but for years, I haven't. And I've been, you know, trying to do things to get my life on track and take care of my kids. I'm a father, I have an autistic son, and I'm just working. So I took some chances to go to work, and it's not worth it. It's costing me too much, but I definitely would like to keep my job and not miss work no more. And this is really strenuous on me, even debating whether or not I should get in a car. But at this point, Your Honor, please help me to keep what I have, which is my home. I have an autistic son, just me and my wife, just us two. And
Where do you work?
I work for Hopkins Facility Maintenance Group. It's called Hopkins FMG. It's a construction company. I'm a carpenter.
So you don't drive for work,
I don't drive for work. I only drive to work when I did take the chance. I don't drive for work.
but you know that you can't do that.
I will not, ma'am, because as much as I'm needed in my home, that's why I spent the money I have to have an attorney, because I'm needed in the home.
All right, then at this time, when was his last conviction, Ms. May?
I am seeing an 09 Dwellis, an 11 Dwellis, and another 11 Dwellis, a 2012 HTO Dwellis, a 17 Dwellis.
All right, I'm going to revoke your bond and double it. So I am going to give you a bond. I will not hold you at no bond.
Oh, okay, I'm not.
So what that means is you posted a $750 bond on that case.
Yes,
I'm revoking that at this time, but I will give you a new bond of $1,500. So you can bond out on both of your charges.
Is it individual bond, I mean separate, or is it?
Yes. So you have one bond that's $2,500 and one bond that's $1,500. You have two separate bonds.
Okay,
But based on the arguments of you and your attorney, I'm not going to hold you at no bond.
thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir. Thank you, counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a nice day. Please tell me your name.
A9s.
A capias was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 344380 for fraudulent use of personal identification information. The bond is $5,000. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim, co-defendant, or any witness in the case. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. And you can't drive without a valid Florida driver's license. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Rochelle Hunt.
21 CF 463480. You're here charged with grand theft. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $2,500. You're not allowed to have any contact with any witness in the case or return to the 7-Eleven located at 3355 Vineland Road. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Did you have a question?
Yes. I actually am the one who called the police initially for that same person that has me in here now. And I was trying to press charges on that person, and somehow they told me it was supposed to be civil, and then next thing I know, I'm in handcuffs, and they're telling me I'm the reason why the money, and the amount that's being said that was missing is not even the amount that he told me initially went missing. That whole affidavit is not true. So it's like, for me, I really would like to take the trial, whatever it is that I need to do, but I'm actually innocent in that situation.
You can do that. You can't do it today. So I appointed the public defender's office to represent you. You'll have to talk to your attorney about it because this court has to make a decision based on the probable cause affidavit. And in the probable cause affidavit, there is probable cause for your arrest. Now, the state would have to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt at a jury trial. So that's at a much later date when lots of things have happened in the case between the attorneys. But at this time, there's probable cause. Ms. George, she's out on bond. I'm inclined to revoke her bond unless you can give me a reason not to.
Can I speak for?
Your Honor, I would just say that she's out on bond for a driving while license suspended, a nonviolent offense. And she based on the testimony here today, that there is an issue with the person claiming she took she took the items that were said in the arrest affidavit. I would just ask that if you are inclined to revoke, that you revoke and set a higher bond. Her last failure to appear was in 2016, and it looks like her last conviction was a nonviolent offense as well.
What says the state?
Your Honor, we have went ahead and filed on this charge, so we would ask that you revoke and set a new bond.
You said you have or have not filed it?
We have. We filed a misdemeanor Dwellis.
You said revoke? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Revoke and set a new.
Oh.
So she was arrested for a felony and you filed it as a misdemeanor?
Yes, Your Honor. It came in as an HTO. We filed it as an M2.
What's that about?
The officers tend to not be able to read the driving record correctly.
So it's not an actual HTO?
Not the way we filed it, Your Honor. I can look into the attorney's notes to see potentially why, but as of right now, it is an M2 Dwellis.
I'm trying to speak. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
I know in that situation, I had just went to court, was it 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, for the same thing that you're discussing now?
Driving while license suspended?
Right, so they appointed me a public defender, so this is literally, it may look bad, but I was already handling that situation. So for it to be revoked, I'm still trying to finish that situation without adding on to this one here, if that makes sense.
So here's what happens. When you're out on bond for a case, one of the conditions of bond is that you not get arrested on a new charge. If you get arrested, oftentimes we revoke that bond because it demonstrates to the court that there aren't reasonable conditions of bond the court can place on you that you will comply with. However,
If I'm innocent in this situation, I'm sorry.
Your Honor,
I said however, hold on.
that CT case you just went to arraignment on 2 days ago?
All right. And because it was arrested as a felony and you posted a $2,500 bond and the state filed a second-degree misdemeanor, I'm not going to revoke it at this time. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Good luck. Don't make me regret it.
Of course.
Please tell me your name.
Quentin James.
21 CF 460480. You're here charged with possession of cocaine. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond is $1,000. You're not allowed to possess or consume a controlled substance without a valid prescription or have contact with any known drug dealers. Ms. George?
He's been deemed incompetent to proceed in multiple cases. We don't have him appointed. It shows that in our system, regional conflict counsel has been appointed on his out on bond case. But I just wanted to let the court know that he has been deemed incompetent to proceed in multiple cases. And ask that you take that into consideration before revoking his out on bond.
All right, at this time, I'm going to take no action on that case. Thank you, Ms. George, for the information. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Jonathan Jean.
21 CF 463980. You're here charged with trafficking in a controlled substance greater than 4 grams, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause. Your bond is $100,000 on count 1, $150,000 on counts 2 and 3, and $100,000 on count 4. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you understand? You have to answer out loud.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition, or have contact with any known drug dealers. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. George, I'm inclined to revoke his bond on the carrying a concealed firearm case, unless you have some argument.
Your Honor, I would just, I believe he was put on pretrial release for that offense. I would just ask that you revoke that and set a bond amount. I don't see any convictions here in Florida, or any failures to appear. I don't believe he paid a bond. I think he was released on pretrial release.
I think you're right about that.
He was released on pretrial release, and he was recently referred to pretrial diversion on the 12th in that case. That case came in with the firearm charges as well as other drug charges, and we only filed firearm charges.
I couldn't hear any of that.
That case came in with firearm charges as well as drug charges, but we only filed on the firearm.
Actually, he did pay a bond. The PTR part on the face sheet is a entry error.
Oh.
He paid a bond, and like she said, now he's on PTD. They probably meant to put PTD.
Okay.
And it just put PTR.
Your Honor, may we approach?
I'm gonna revoke it.
Okay.
He's dealing drugs and he has guns. I'm gonna revoke it. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Eric King.
A capias was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 1901AO for violating a condition of pretrial release in that you possessed or consumed illegal drugs on March 18th by testing positive for opioids. There's no bond on that. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck.
Luna, you refused court.
21 CF 4644AO. I find his refusal a willing waiver of his appearance today. I'll appoint the public defender's office. There is probable cause. I'll stay his bonds at 1,000, 100, and 100. He's not allowed to possess or consume controlled substances or have contact with any known drug dealers. And I'm revoking his bonds.
Your Honor, he's also been deemed incompetent to proceed. I believe it's a female.
It's a female.
Okay.
It's a woman.
She's been deemed incompetent to proceed, and she doesn't meet the requirements for commitment.
She does not?
She does not.
Okay. All right, then I'll take no action on our out on bond cases at this time. Thank you, Counselor. Please tell me your name.
Marcus KT Miller.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 3914
Yes, ma'am.
for sale or delivery of cannabis within 1,000 feet of a convenience business. Another judge has already found probable cause. Your bond is $10,000. You're not allowed to return to the scene. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription or have contact with known drug dealers. Do you understand?
May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So it's $1,000 for my bond?
The bond, it's $1,000.
So they got proper call. They got proof of me, cause I didn't get no papers. I ain't get no papers or nothing to like kind of. I ain't missed no court dates or nothing.
No, this is a warrant was issued for your arrest.
Yes, ma'am. Because when I had the officer told me, like 2 officers when I had came here, man, they had told me that I had missed a court date, and I do got a GTA charge too. So I need to know when that court date, so I don't have to miss that one if I do bond out on this one.
I don't know about that. You do have an out on bond case.
My public defender not even picking up the phone, man. My public defender, I can't get in contact with nobody. I don't know my public defender. They deny my calls every time I call her. I can't reach anyone.
So you're going to get a piece of paper that's going to give you a number that someone will answer.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
call that number.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a warrant for sale or delivery of cannabis within 1,000 feet of a convenience business, and you're out on bond on a charge of grand theft.
Your Honor?
Yes.
It does show a capias was issued April 21st.
In which
Failure
case?
to appear on the out on bond case.
Is it the grand theft?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's what he's referring to.
But I paid one bond. Then I called the courthouse. They said I didn't have nothing in the computer for me to show up the court. After I paid already a bond already, I was on a dirt bike, and I had to pay a bond on that. And I had got off on 2 bonds
on 2 bonds that's saying on that.
So a bond, though, it just means you're released from custody, but you still have to keep your court dates.
Yes, ma'am, but when I called my public defender, or the public defender y'all described me with, she's not no longer picking up the phone, and she have my people number, the address.
I don't have any control over which public defender the public defender's office assigns you.
Yes, ma'am.
They assign their own attorneys.
Yes, ma'am.
The court just appoints the public defender's office to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you think that you have a defense to the FTA, which is not before this court today,
ma'am.
then you need to talk to your attorney about that because they need to file a motion in front of that judge.
Yes, ma'am.
But today, I don't have that capias.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the state intending to serve it?
Your Honor, I can email someone right now and he could probably be served
He's in custody.
before he leaves the jail. We have someone that serves at the jail.
He does have a hold for it to be served.
All right, so what will happen is that capias will be served on you. I'm not sure exactly when.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there bond authorized on it or is it no bond?
Right now, as the person who put it in the system, it just shows it's 0 at a no bond.
Okay, so it shows no bond?
Yeah.
All right, do you want me to revoke it then? Okay. I'm gonna revoke your bond in 20 CF 13267AO so that you get all the credit you're entitled to, because that capias will be served on you soon and you'll be held at no bond on that capias. So your attorney's gonna have to file a motion in front of the trial judge.
And Your Honor, I would just add the attorney assigned has been trying to reach out, but it shows that the phone is not in service.
Okay.
Also, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
So I can't pay a $10,000 bond right now?
No.
You can pay it, but you're not gonna get
Since they're wasting no money like that.
Please tell me your name.
Ramos, ma'am.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 3429 for failing to update your driver's license or identification card as a sex offender. Another judge has already found probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. At this time, your bond will be $15,000. Sir, you understand that you must comply with all of your sex offender reporting requirements, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck, sir.
And can I say something, please?
Yes. Everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you.
Yes, ma'am. I served 5 years already on this crime. I completed the sex offender therapy classes, plus the evaluation, plus I paid all my fees, and I completed 1 year, over a year on monitor. I have a job, and I haven't been rearrested. I haven't gotten in trouble in any way. I'm homeless because I couldn't afford to pay for my apartment once I didn't receive any more assistance. And I made a poor choice. I thought that the 48-hour thing was only for people that were on probation. I'm not on probation. I have a job that I don't want to lose, and I'm only asking you if you could possibly just lower my bond to where I could at least continue to work and just to remain where I won't be able to get out on that bond. I'm only asking for that opportunity. I've tried everything that I can to stay out of trouble, and I haven't been in any trouble. I haven't reoffended in any way. I haven't, I'm just asking for some.
At this time, I'm not inclined to change that. Your attorney can file a motion in front of the trial judge to reduce that bond.
So how long am I going to sit in jail over this now?
That's between your attorney and the trial judge. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Francisco Perez Vasquez.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 4316, charging you with delivery of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting an officer without violence. Another judge has already found probable cause in this case. Your bond is $2,500 on counts 1 and 2, $500 on counts 3 and 4. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not allowed to have contact with any known drug dealers or return to this scene. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Richard Ross.
21MM2731AO. You're here charged with possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $250 on count 1, $100 on count 2. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription or have contact with any known drug dealers. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In 21 CF 4315, you're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest for burglary of a conveyance and petty theft. Another judge has already found probable cause. Your bond is $3,500 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not allowed to have contact with the victim or return to the scene. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. Please tell me your name.
William Trinidad Rodriguez.
21 CT 2985, you're here charged with driving while license suspended. There is probable cause, and your bond is $500. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. In 21 CT 895, a capias was issued for your arrest, also for driving while license suspended, for failing to appear for arraignment on that charge. Your bond is $500, and I'll appoint the public defender's office. It looks like you have a warrant out of Volusia County for violation of probation in 064183. There's no bond authorized on that, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. 21 CF 4640, you're charged with possession of cocaine. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond on that is $1,000. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription or have contact with any known drug dealers. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Demetrius Walls.
In 21 CF 4646AO, you're charged with counterfeiting a license plate and no valid driver's license. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office. Did you wish to be heard in this one, Counselor?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm arguing.
Can you move the microphone?
Sorry. I'm arguing that there is no PC for the counterfeiting of a license plate. It was a temporary tag, if I'm not mistaken, and then there was another temporary tag that was placed behind that one. The court has held that a temporary tag does not fall into the definition of a license plate, and so I would just argue that there is no PC.
What says the state? I have to pull up the statute right now.
Yes, Your Honor, off the top of my head, I believe Ms. George is correct.
Wait, I can't hear you.
Off the top of my head, I believe Ms. George is correct. I remember dealing with this before, however, I am trying to verify real fast.
I have a case for you.
You have a site?
Do you have a case, Ms. George?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I do believe Ms. George is correct. State would just ask that you find PC for abuse or misuse of a temporary tag, which is Florida Statute 320.131.
All right, I really couldn't understand what you were saying.
I don't know why it's not picking up. I do believe Ms. George is correct. I remember that previously and looking at the case that she cited, 932 Southern 2nd, 1138. So I would ask that you find PC for abuse or misuse of attempt tag, which is Florida Statute 320.131.
All right, I do find probable cause exists for that. And no valid driver's license, so your bond will be $500 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. And in 21 CF 4645AO, you're charged with sale or delivery of methamphetamine, carrying a concealed weapon, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Again, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. George, did you wish to be heard in this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Your bond is $15,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. You're not allowed to possess or consume a controlled substance without a valid prescription. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. You're not allowed to have contact with any known drug dealers. And at this time, I'm revoking your bond in 21 MM 390.
Your Honor, I don't know the sale and delivery of methamphetamine. I don't know where the PC is for that. I'm trying to go back. I was so focused on the tag.
Right, I thought this was the more serious charge that I would hear from you, but I didn't.
Right.
So,
The sale and delivery of the methamphetamine, I don't see anything in the arrest affidavit that mentions any type of a sale. Sting operation normally is what I would see, a phone call. It just says that he had 2 baggies of the, looks like the meth, 5.2 grams, and a small amount of cannabis.
right, I wondered the same thing, Miss May. Where's the sale or delivery?
Your Honor, I think it's supposed to be with intent to sell or deliver due to the multiple clear baggies, not a sale and delivery. I believe it was supposed to be possession with intent to sell or deliver.
I see.
Due to having the brass knuckles and then all of the clear plastic baggies, which would indicate an intent to sell.
All right, then I'm going to find there's probable cause for possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell. I'll reduce that bond to $5,000 and stay the other 2 at $100 each.
Thank you, Your Honor.
How much?
5,000 on count 1 and then 100 each on 2 and 3.
Do you need a statute? Does she need one?
Yes, you can give it to me.
I did. I already did that.
You're welcome. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. George and Ms. May, we're done, but can you approach?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you take any action on the add-on bond?
I revoked it.
Oh, you did?
How did nobody hear me do that? Ian heard it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's been a long day.
It has been. That was my note. I was waiting for you. And you didn't? I thought, well, so then I went back and read it again thinking maybe I was wrong. No, that's the one. Please tell me your name.
Israel Walls.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Israel Walls.
Did you say Andrea or Jasmine?
Jasmine.
Okay. A capias was issued for your arrest in 20 CF 8238 for failing to appear for a case management conference on a petty theft with 2 prior convictions. Your bond is $2,000 and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. In 20 CF 8983, a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for a trial management conference on a charge of possession of cocaine. The bond is $2,500, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. In 21 CF 4636, you're charged with possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a prescription drug without a prescription. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond is $1,000 on count 1, $100 on counts 2 and 3. You're not allowed to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription, have contact with any known drug dealers, and you're not allowed to have contact with Dorothea Tolbert. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, I understand.
We have Jasmine Walls and Andrea Walls.
Yes. Those are all AKAs.
Okay, understood. There was my confusion, thank you.
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Your Honor, on the out on bond.
She has an out on bond case,
Yes.
and those are different from the Capias's?
That I'm not sure.
Counselor, I'm inclined to revoke it.
I would just argue, Your Honor, that all of these offenses, I can't see the failure to appear, but all these offenses are nonviolent. It even shows that her last possession charge was in possession of drug paraphernalia in 2018. So I just ask that you take that into consideration. And if you are inclined to revoke, just revoke and double the bond amount, as opposed to revoking and setting it at her bond at none.
Well, it wasn't mine.
I can't hear you.
I said it wasn't mine. I was in a car, somebody gave me a ride, and it was a straw on the floor. And the officer tried to, just said it was mine because I was in the car or whatever. But I haven't used any drugs since I've been out. I got my own apartment. I'm working, and I just been staying out of trouble all I can.
All right, I'm going to take no action. Good luck, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, Your Honor. Thank you, Jesus.
All right, sir, please tell me your name.
David Washington.
21 CF 44770. You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest, charging you with felony murder, second degree with a firearm, and attempted home invasion robbery with the firearm. Another judge has already found probable cause, and I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Ms. May?
Your Honor, State would ask that you hold no bond pending an Arthur hearing.
I will do that at this time. You'll have no bond on counts 1 and 2, but even while in custody, you can't have any contact with the victim's family. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You also can't have contact with any co-defendants or witnesses in the case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are there any other conditions the state would request?
Not at this time.
And Ms. May, did you wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Ms. George, not you. I know who you are. I assume she doesn't want to be heard.
Hospital.
18 CF 2492. It's a violation of probation with no bond. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office.
I'll waive, Your Honor.
He's in the hospital, counselor, but it's a VOP, so.
Okay.
Please tell me your name.
Esteban Duran.
In 21 CT 2986, you're charged with no valid driver's license. There is probable cause for that. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond on that charge will be $500. You cannot drive without a valid Florida driver's license. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In 19-03561, you're charged with violating your community control. At this time, there's no bond, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on that charge as well. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Joseph Latanzio.
A warrant was issued for your arrest in 19 CF 12517 for violating your probation by failing to report in person to the probation office and failing to report a residence. There's no bond authorized on that, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Please tell me your name.
Brian Lewis.
2016 CF 9441, a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation by committing the criminal offense of battery on February 7th, 2021. There's no bond authorized on that warrant, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Sterling.
2015 CF 6298, a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation by committing the criminal offense of grand larceny in Nassau County on March 20th and committing the offense of criminal possession of stolen property, looks like to wit a credit card, also in Nassau County on March 20th, 2020. There's no bond authorized on this warrant. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Good luck. Please tell me your name. I'm sorry, one more time? Thank you. A warrant was issued for your arrest out of Polk County in case number 0071915 for failing to appear for a driving while license suspended second conviction. Your bond is $3,000. We'll also notify them that you're here. You can say anything you want, but everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you later.
All right, well, I was incarcerated in Osceola County, and they never took me to a court date.
Oh, that's why you failed to appear?
Yes.
Okay, so just make sure, I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office. You have other cases we're going to address. Make sure you tell them that, because if you have a defense, they need to tell the judge. I can't change that judge's warrant. And then in 21 CF 3110, a capias was issued for your arrest for grand theft of a motor vehicle. The bond is $3,500. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office in that case as well. In 21 CF 580, a warrant was issued for your arrest for grand theft of a motor vehicle. Another judge has found probable cause, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office in that case as well. Your bond is $5,000 in that case, and you're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In 20 MM 500, a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation by committing the offense of, looks like burglary, grand theft, and driving while license suspended, and failing to pay $50 per month cost of supervision. At this time, there's no bond authorized on that warrant, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office on that one as well. Good luck, sir.
And no action on the out on bond?
Out on bond.
I'm not taking any action on that at this time. Those are the dates. Please tell me your name.
Lawrence Allion.
it looks like a warrant was issued for your arrest out of Seminole County in 19 CF 2553 for violating probation on a burglary of a dwelling charge, dealing in stolen property, giving false verification of ownership to a pawnbroker, grand theft. There's no bond authorized on that, and we'll notify them that you're here.
All right, that's what I was gonna ask, thank you.
Yeah, we'll notify them. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office as well.
Because the warrant was issued because I was here. I was supposed to show up last week to probation. Oh, plus
Well,
charge, I guess.
hold on, you have another one. No, this is the same one.
I have,
Oh.
I have an unextraditional warrant from New Jersey also, but that's unextraditional.
Well, it looks like in this one, it's alleging that you violated your probation by committing the new offense of aggravated stalking domestic in Orange County.
Yes. And
So-
they must have they violated me again when I didn't show, I guess.
Well, it's for that new arrest. So you'll have to talk to your attorney about it.
All right, yes.
All right, good luck, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please tell me your name.
Here, George.
You're here in 21-40050, charged with reckless driving. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. It's an over-the-line arrest, counselor. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name. Did you say Gregory Hill? A warrant was issued for your arrest out of Osceola County in 20 CF 1328 for violating your probation for felony battery. There is no bond authorized on this warrant, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
William Rodman.
21 CF 228. A warrant was issued for your arrest out of Lake County for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Bond is $10,000. We'll notify them that you're here, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir. Any further business before the court today?
Actually, Your Honor, yes. Do you mind if we take like a brief, like 2-minute recess so I can call someone real fast to potentially fix an error from this morning?
A 33-day motion, Your Honor.
Our office sends an auto ROR email, and everyone says whatever happened with their cases. That's what I represent to the court, is whatever everyone says happened with their case, whether it was filed or whether it was not filed. That email came out and said that Mr. Francis's case, it was filed on yesterday. So I represented this morning that it was filed, therefore the motion should be denied. Ms. George just brought to my attention that the PD assigned to that case said, I don't think that's true. So I just looked in our system, and I believe a notice of non-filing was filed, not an information, so he should be released, I believe. I don't want to wait through the weekend because the attorneys over the weekend wouldn't know how to handle it. So I don't want him sitting in jail for 2-3 additional days if we potentially could file a new motion right now to get him out by the weekend.
Okay.
I just wanted to call the intake unit to verify that that is true.
Okay,
Correct.
do it. Court will be in recess.
Thank you.